All right, we are going to get started. Hi everyone, my name is Emily West and I'm the Digital Services Librarian here at the Rochester Hills Public Library. And today we are going to be learning about two online resources that are available to you for free through the library called Learning Express and Gale Courses. Now I paired these two services together because they are both related to learning new skills or advancing your career or brushing up on what you already know. So let's get started. I'm going to unfreeze the screen. All right, the very first one we are going to talk about today is called Gale Courses. So Gale Courses is a online learning platform that's available to you, like I said, for free through the Rochester Hills Public Library. It's going to have hundreds of courses on all sorts of different topics. You can learn accounting, you can learn how to use Google Sheets, you can learn how to use Adobe Photoshop, all different kinds of skills you can learn through instructor-led real-time classes. So I recently just got out of grad school about a year ago. So I did my master's degree in Library and Information Science from Wayne State, and I did it online. So if any of you are familiar with using online learning environments such as Blackboard or Canva or even Google Classroom, it's kind of similar to this. So unlike some other courses or some other programs or services through the library, this is synchronized so that you and a bunch of other students sign up for a 6-week course, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, course through the library so that you can all learn in a classroom together with a set instructor. The good news is that because it's for free through the library, it's pretty low stakes. So unlike going to college, for example, where you might pay a couple grand for a whole course for a semester, this is for free to you. It's pretty low stakes. You can take the class again if you didn't do super well in it or you didn't learn a lot. No problem at all. It's like online learning at school, but a lot less stressful. So all you need to do to sign up for Gale Courses is to have your RHPL, your library card, create a username and a password. Yep, like I said, it's instructor-led. There's no personal penalties for getting a bad grade. And there's a certificate of completion at the end of the course. So after the end of the 6-week course, once you have passed the class, every class is a little bit different. The ones that I've taken, what you need to do to pass the class, just like with high school or with college, you do the exams, the quizzes, the assignments, and once you have passed it, then you receive the certificate of completion. You do not receive the certificate of completion if you do not pass the course. This is great if you want to add this to your resume, if you're looking to switch jobs or get a little bit advanced in your own career. This is something that you can tack in at like the end of your resume under skills, and then you can show, if an employer asks for it, the certificate of completion to show what you have learned. In order to get started, when you go to the library's website at rhpl.org, and at the top of the screen, you are going to see all these tabs. You're going to want to go to the Collections tab. And under Digital Collections, you're going to click on E-Courses and Learning. And that will take you to this section of the page. You'll see Creative Bug, Gale Courses, Pronunciator. It's Gale Courses is under E-Courses and Learning. You would simply click on the link Access Gale Courses. And this is going to be the next screen that you see. So this is the home page. Every time that you click on the link to get to Gale Courses, it will take you to this home screen right here. In order to, signing up is a little bit weird because you have to pick a course first before you sign up, instead of if you already have an account with Gale Courses, you would simply click on sign in at the top. But if you've never used it before, you have to find a course before you register for it, and I'm going to show you how to do that in the next few slides. So once you click on View Catalog, which is this button right here, you are going to see the list of all of the hundreds of different courses that are offered. So Gale Courses makes it easy. They have all of these different categories right here, and within each of these 11 categories, there are subcategories. So if you click on business, you'll find business administration, you'll find QuickBooks under accounting and finance. Computer applications, you'll see like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, for example. You can click and browse through any of these categories right here, or you can search for something specific. So say that you want to learn how to use Adobe Premiere, the video editing software. If you type into the search bar, enter search here, Adobe Premiere, and hit enter, you will find a course or multiple courses based on that thing that you searched for. Once you find a course that looks interesting to you, you have two different options. You can either click on the title of the course to view more information about it, or you can click on this little bronze button right here called Enroll Now. So this is actually the course that I am taking at the moment. It's called Introduction to Interior Design. I took a previous course before called, it was about grant writing, which is pretty relevant to me as a librarian working in this kind of environment. But I am currently in this course right now, which is why I took a screenshot of it. So you are going to find all of the information about the course right here. You're going to see how long it is. Most courses are 6 weeks. It's a little hard to see because the text is pretty small. You're going to see session start dates. Oh, that's important to know. Each course, it starts once a month, and it will list the dates of the start day for the course when you go to register for it. So technically, you can register for a course that's currently in session, but if it's in the middle of a session, then I would recommend registering for the next one. And this is the next screen that you see. This is what I mean by selecting a start date. For example, it's like the options are February 12th and March 12th. The next one would be April 12th. For example, since the March 12th course started yesterday, you could register for it like the course that had already started, or I would most likely recommend registering for the next start date. After you click and select a day and click Continue Enrollment, this is what I mean by registering for an account after you've already selected a course. So on the left side of the screen, as you can see, I've already have an account with them, so my login credentials are right here. But if you do not have an account already, you would, under New Students Start here, enter your email address to start creating a new account. And these are the fields that are necessary to complete. Gale Courses, this is secure information. They only need this information if, like, for example, maybe you want to have a certificate mailed to you, or you, for any other contact information, it's just this right here. They don't ask for a lot. And title, I believe that is if you are like have a professional degree and you have some like letters next to your name, like Juris Doctor or your medical degree, or a like a Miss or a Mrs. that's under title. And I out this information right here because that has all of my personal information on it. And then you are going to want to enter your library card number. Now, see at this top of the screen in the top left, it knows, Gale Courses knows that you are part of the Rochester Hills Public Library because you clicked on the Gale course link through the Rochester Hills Public Library page. You still, though, need to enter your library card number. I don't think it matters if you're already logged into the library's website. I might have to double check that later, but you will want to enter your library card number. All right, and then a couple of things will happen. This, you will get taken to this screen right here. You will also get an email sent to your email address that you signed up with for Gale courses. It's going to be your confirmation email. I like to save that confirmation email because within that email is the link to the course itself. Either you can like save that email and then click on that link every time you want to log in, or you can bookmark this page. Either way, it's up to you. And then once you are ready, you're going to click Enter My Classroom. And I believe on the next slide it's going to tell me, yes, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you click on Enter My Classroom. So let me get out of here and go to Gale Courses, sign in. And whenever as soon as you've logged into Gale Courses and you want to come back to it, all you have to do is click on My Classroom here at the top. And if you are registered for more than one course, all of them would be here under active courses. If you are registered for a course in the future, it's going to be under upcoming. Back here are my previous courses. So I took ADZ grant writing. A recommendation for you is if you are new to this and you want to test out the waters, I would recommend registering for one course at a time. I wouldn't necessarily recommend trying to do like 5 at a time unless you have a lot of time on your hands. But I do one at a time. I work full time. I don't have a lot of free time. I just want to do one at a time. So I have Introduction to Interior Design right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Enter. Oh, and as you can see right here, it tells you when the course starts and when the course ends. So the question was, if you have multiple, I'm going to repeat the question because the camera doesn't pick up on the audience real well. If you're registered for more than one course, how does it know what the start and end times are? Good question. Each course, I believe, has its own start and end time, so that's associated with that specific course. So this course, Introduction to Interior Design, its start date is right here, and its end date is right here. So if you had a different course, say you had Microsoft Excel, for example, there would be a box with Microsoft Excel right here, and it would have its start date and its end date. This is what the screen looks like. This is called your, in the world of education, it's called LMS, Learning Management Software, I believe it's what it's called. And it's set up kind of similar to similar software like Blackboard or Canva, for example, where it has all of the different modules on the left. So modules meaning different sections of the course. Each module, in this course specifically, each course is a little bit different, but in each of these modules, each lesson is half a week, so there's 2 lessons per week. Some courses might have 1 lesson per week, but you would go through each and every one successfully. These little locks down here at the bottom, as you can see, Lesson 10, Design for All, will be available on March 14th, 2025 at 3 o'clock a.m. These sections of the course are locked until that date arrives. This is, as you can see, I'm a little far behind. These green check boxes means you have completed that lesson. If there's no green check mark, that means you haven't completed that section. And the lock means, as I said, it's not available yet. Supposing it's preventing students from jumping too far ahead in a course so that you do it one section at a time. I suppose it's also good because it makes you feel less overwhelmed, like, oh my goodness, I have all of these things to do. No, just one lesson at a time, twice a week. So I'm going to show you, if I click on this section right here, Colors of the World, this is lesson number 4. There are subsections of that lesson where these are it's easier for me to show you. Okay, so the introduction will show you like what this lesson is about, and each individual chapter is a different section of the main section of Colors of the World. So this is your course material that you're learning from. I'm going to show you a little bit later if the instructor requires different outside reading materials. The good thing is, as some of you may know, textbooks are very expensive, and fortunately for you, at least in none of the courses that I have taken through Gale courses, I've never needed to buy or use a textbook. All of the information that you need to learn from the course is going to be built within this course itself. You don't need to go out and buy a whole nother book, not if you don't need to. Down here at the end of every lesson, at least every lesson from every course I've taken, is resources for further learning. These are not necessarily required, they may be required reading, but they're not something that you have to go out of your way to buy. Most of these, as you can see, are links to other websites. So since this course's section is on Colors of the World, it's talking about color palettes and interior design. It's got Pantone, Canva, Color Adobe. These are links. Sometimes they'll have journal articles for you to read. Every once in a while it might recommend a book or two, but we're at a library, so you can get it from the library or you can get it from Melcat, but it's the most important information you need for the course is in these sections, these lessons themselves. So I'm going to show you the lesson 4 assignment. So there are assignments. For the courses I have taken, these assignments may or may not be a part of your final grade at the end. So there's assignments, there are quizzes. For the course I took on grant writing, the 100% of my final grade was based on my score from the final exam. Some courses might have no final exam, some courses might, just as it is with a college course, and sometimes the assignment counts toward your grade, sometimes it doesn't. And as for submitting the assignment, it would be usually it's under the discussion area. And then there's a quiz at the end to go over what you've learned, and then of course the resources for further learning. Let's see if I can show a good example of any. Oh, sometimes it will show, this is a good example of things you'll see within a lesson. It will help you review the material through flashcards. Sometimes it will have you do matching terms with their definitions, and that's within the course itself, the lessons themselves. Then the final exam is at the very end of the course. That is, like I said, it's not available yet. It will be available on March 21st. You will receive the certificate of completion upon the submission of your final exam. Once it's once you've passed the final exam and you've passed the course, that's when you get the certificate of completion, which may be before the course actually ends. So as you can see, it ends on the 21st, but the course itself ends on April 4th. So it gives you 14 days, so 2 weeks after the day the final exam is made available to when the course actually ends. So it gives you some leeway. As you saw earlier, I'm a little bit far behind on my course right now. I just got back from being on a trip, and so I haven't been able to keep up with it, but you've got some flexibility with it. Like I said, it's much, much, much lower stakes than being in university or being in high school. You still have to put in the effort in order to get the good grade, but it's less stressful. Is it all pass or fail? the good question. The ones that I've taken have been a pass-fail. The final exam was graded on like a 100-point scale, and I forgot what grade I got, but if you pass the exam, you you pass the course. If you, I don't, for the ones that I have seen, I haven't seen a letter grade attached, like, oh, you have an F in this course apparently, currently. As you can see, I'm used to seeing a grade book section of my learning module or my LMS, my learning system, like Canva and Blackboard had a little section for what your current grade is in the course. There is no section for this right here. So once again, low stakes. Oh, you can see the scores at the top. I just ate my words. Oh, there we go. There is a way to see your scores, but as you can see right here, 100%, but does not count for grade. For this course and the other ones I've taken, let's go to the next page. Final exam, 100% of your final grade. So, you don't know your final grade for this course at least, and the other ones I've taken previously, and you don't see your final grade until you've completed your final exam. All right, we are just about done with Gale courses. Does yes, what's your question? So the question was, do I have to take the final exam on the day that it's posted? No, you do not. For the ones that I've taken, see it says final exam will be available on March 21st. It might depend on the course and the instructor, but for my previous course, I had between the day that it was posted, the exam, and the end of the course 2 weeks later to complete it. So that gives you some flexibility if you are a little bit behind, or you want some more time to prepare. You've got some leeway in that regard. What's your question right here? Good question. So, I have not seen, because Gale Courses is a national service, it's something that there are no scheduled lectures that you have to attend on this specific day. This is made, for example, this lesson, right? The next lesson is available on March 14th at 3 o'clock in the morning. You do not need to sign on to your computer at 3 o'clock in the morning. Please don't do that. That's when it's made available, but you don't have to be on the computer at 3 o'clock when the course goes live. Correct. That is something that you might not like about Gale courses. I have on the sheet that I gave you, those are paper clipped together. It gives you a list of things that you'll like about Gale courses and things that you might not super like. It entirely depends on your preferences. It entirely depends on what you like and what you don't. You might like that this is fairly structured. Some people might not like that it's super structured and it's a live course. You might not like online learning. You might love online learning. You might love that you don't have to be on at a specific time and you don't have to interact with your professor. You might wish that you had more professor interaction. It entirely depends on what you want. I will say that the instructor, let's see, if I could open up, is it under resources? I will say that the instructors for the course are a little bit harder to reach than, for example, like if you were in college. When I was in college, I had professors who had office hours, and I could sign up to go to a professor's office hours and ask them all my questions. The professors are a little bit more hands-off with this, especially with things like this where assignments may or may not be graded, which you might love or you might not like because you're like, am I getting enough feedback on this? It's something that you'll want to consider. Excuse me. I don't like, I will be honest with you, I don't super like that the instructors are a little bit more hands-off with this. That might be something that you appreciate. But the best way to interact with people, and the professors or the instructors do come in here often, is the discussion area. So the discussion posts are going to be right here. So you can see what other people have made. You can see all of the replies. This is the best way to get in contact with your fellow classmates if you have additional questions. All right. What's that? Yes. Yes. Yeah, every course that I know of has a discussion section so that you can interact with other people. In fact, if you go up to this discussions at the top, so maybe under syllabus. I know with a previous course I had under Getting Started, which was the course overview, it had like more information about the instructor, but this one does not. All right. What's your question? Yes. The lessons, this course has 2 lessons per week. I believe it's Monday and Friday or Wednesday and Friday. It's twice a week. So these lessons 1 and 2 are week 1, lessons 3 and 4 are week 2, 5 and 6 are week 3, so on and so forth. I think so. Let me go back here. Right. It is flexible in that regard. So let me go to a different course. I believe it shows you the amount of time it's required. So if I go to Spanish, that's might be a bad example. Hours 24. Okay. 24 hours over the course of 6 weeks, which would be approximately 4 hours per week. That is an approximation. That's not a hard and fast deadline. So if you're getting 2 lessons per week, that's 2 hours per lesson. I find that I go through the lessons a little faster than that. So that's not like you could spend more time on the lessons or less time. This is just an average, exactly. Say it again. Yeah. You can't, the locked portion, it's locked until the time that it's designated as. Yes, you could. I wouldn't necessarily recommend speeding through the course, especially if you want to get out of it as much as you want to get out of it. But if you're like a couple weeks behind like myself, then you could plow through several lessons in one day. You could. It entirely depends on how you learn best, though. All right. That is it. If I'm going to move on pretty quickly to Learning Express next. So Learning Express is also, this is learning but significantly less structured. Learning Express is really good for current students enrolled in high school, in college, in grad school, or any other professional school, such as a trade school. It provides practice tests and study guides, books, and more available for free to you through the library. And so I'm going to demonstrate this in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to show you really quickly how to get started with Learning Express. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So first I'm going to show you how to get there. Oh, first, Prepare for a variety of professional and academic exams. So if you have children or grandchildren or other relatives or friends that are taking their AP exams, or they're wanting to go to med school and they're preparing for the MCAT, or they're preparing for the LSAT to go to law school, Learning Express has all of the test prep needs for current students to help them prepare for their upcoming exams. Learning Express has more than just test preparation. I'm going to show you in a little bit, but this is what it's mostly used for. So I'm going to show you how to get started. So once again, back to the library's homepage. Excuse me. If you go to the Collections tab at the top, and then under this little square Research Databases, when you click on Research Databases, you're going to get taken to this long list of all of our research databases, and it's alphabetized. So if you scroll down to L for Learning Express and click on Learning Express Library, that's how you get to it. From there, you click on Sign In/Register here at the top. Unlike Gale courses, you don't have to find a test before you can create an account. You can register right away. I already have an account, so I don't need to register, but I did take pictures of the screenshots for when you do, to show you what it looks like. So as you can see, I'm already have an account, but if you're a new user, you would simply click register. Oh, a thing to know, technically you don't have to have an account with Learning Express to see what it has to offer, but I do strongly recommend you to create an account if you want to save your progress and come back to it later. So it would simply ask these questions in these fields right here. Your institution is Michigan eLibrary. Technically, this is available through MEL, so the same service that provides MELCAT, Michigan eLibrary also provides the databases, one of them being Learning Express. You would enter this information right here, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. So let's go to Learning Express. Alright, as you can see, it has 3 different sections. It has a public library section, a college library, and a high school library. If you're wondering, oh, is this locked because we're not at a high school library? No. So if you click on high school library, all 3 of these sections are completely available to you. Nothing is locked away. You can access any one of these sections right here. So if you, for example, have a relative that is a high school student looking to prepare for their SAT or ACT tests, you would go to, Prepare for College. So if you go here, right here, so guided ACT score course, SAT course, get ready for the PSAT, and AP exams as well. So you might be, one thing that you will see on the sheet of things that are little drawbacks of Learning Express is, unfortunately, it's not always super up to date. You might find some test preps that are a year or 2 old. They might not necessarily have the latest iteration of the test preparation, but it usually no more than a couple years off. So you might see, for example, the 2022 AP US History exam preparation. It's not, if you want like the 2024 or 2025 or 2026 AP exam preparation, it may or may not have it. I would recommend, I know that the upstairs in adult services in our nonfiction section, the AP exam test preparation is there's a table right next to study rooms 4 and 5 in the teen section that has like AP exam, uh, L, SAT, ACT prep. And then for like the LSAT or the MCAT, for example, is going to be in with the rest of the nonfiction test preparation. So that's probably going to have more current test preparation. This may or may not be a little bit older. As you can see, you can do a lot more than simply test preparation. If you or your student or your relative wants to brush up on their math and science skills or their English language arts skills, if you're having difficulty finding a tutor or this person needs some extra support, these have modules over here to help you practice your reading skills. So let me try to find an example. Let's go to reading skills. And then from here, this is not, for example, for AP English Literature. This is for general, like 9th to 10th grade help for English language arts. Now, if you're wondering if this is curriculum centered, I do not believe so, because curriculum varies very widely across states and even maybe across school districts. There are some resources through the library that are state curriculum specific, but I do not believe that Learning Express is. So if you go to or reading literature practice grades 11 through 12, I'm going to show you that it looks like I am already registered and signed in. Okay. Now we're on track. Thank you for the quick hiatus. I am so sorry about that. I know what my login credentials are, and I'm sorry that I looked a little bit unprepared for that, but sometimes technology just doesn't do what you always want it to do. Perfect. I reset my password, and hopefully I remember it for next time. All right, back to business. All right, so if you go to English language arts skills, reading skills, this is what it's supposed to look like once you've signed in or once you've already registered. So if you go to literature reading practice number 1, I'm going to show you what an example of a practice test looks like. It's going to show you the test time, the total number of questions, and the cool thing about Learning Express is that there are different modes. My recommendation for if you want to practice for tests is that you practice timed tests. Practice timing your tests will prepare you for the real exam where you have, for example, 3 hours to complete 200 questions. Random example. That is what I recommend, is practice with the timed exams. You can practice with the practice mode. As you can see, if the test is timed, the timer will display but will not be enforced. There's also learner mode, where you view the answers to each question as you go along to help you study. Learner mode is best if you practice it. I would probably recommend advancing from learner mode to practice mode, especially since it's timed. All right. Also, once again, low stakes. It's going to give you a score, but of course it doesn't coincide to example like your actual MCAT score, or it's not going to be this equivalent of it's a simulation. It's not graded. It's scored, but it's not like impacting your final grade for a class, for example. So let's go to start test, and they're usually multiple choice or fill in the blank or true and false. Because these are not scored by an instructor, uh, it's, you aren't going to for example, see essay examples. You might see essay prompts, but because they're not scored by an instructor, you're not going to get feedback on it. What you are going to get, however, is examples of what these questions might look like on the real exam. So as you can see, this looks pretty familiar to me from my English classes way back in high school 10 years ago. It's multiple choice based on the prompts of this right here up above. And you can see test time remaining 1 hour 14 minutes, counting down. A cool thing about it is you can go to the notepad. If you don't, I usually have a pen and notepad with me anyway, but if you want to do it on your computer to take notes as you are taking the test, you can do the notepad. You can save to finish later if you want to come back to this test. And then you can score my test at the end once you've completed it to show you how you did, what answers you got wrong, what answers you got right, and why. So then you can jump to a question to go farther down the line. If you want to go back to a question or you want to skip forward, then go back to home. And I'm going to show you a couple of other things. Something that might be more relevant is career exploration. So Learning Express also has a job and career accelerator right here at the bottom. So this section right here, career exploration and job and career accelerator. Learning Express has some helpful tips for people that are currently looking for jobs. So it has resume advice, advice for interviews, advice for putting together a cover letter. It would be under Job and Career Accelerator. Under Career Exploration, if you click here, oh, interesting. It says something. Oh, that's interesting. What device are you on? I'm not sure why it would look different on an iPad versus, yeah. Oh, interesting. I wonder if it's laid out a little bit differently for the iPad. Some websites do that. Personally, I don't like it when websites do that, but I wonder if they're grouped together differently on an iPad or a phone screen versus on a laptop screen. So, under Career Explorations is going to be, this is great for career desperation for high school grads. A good thing to point to people who are fresh out of college or fresh out of high school and are a little bit unsure of what they want to do next. This will give them some ideas to help them get pointed into the right direction. Licensing and certification resources for educators if you are a teacher. If you, for example, this is not just helpful for grad students and high school students or college students. I go to Computer Skills Center is another good option to go to. I sometimes point people to this, especially I work a lot with older patrons who want some help learning how to use their laptop or their computer or their cell phone. If they want some extra support, the Computer Skills Center is a good place to go to brush up on some typing skills, basic computer literacy, which would be under this section right here. High School Equivalency Center, I helped a gentleman a few months ago who was preparing to take the GED. The GED prep would be under here. And then that is math and science skills. Oh, what section am I in? I'm still under high school library. So if I go into college library, for college students, college grads, or people entering into college. If you are, like I was saying earlier about the GRE, the GMAT, the LSAT, the MCAT, and more, it would be under grad school's admissions preparation. And as I was demonstrating earlier, the layout for the tests is pretty consistent across the board. So there's the time tests, there are the non-timed tests. It's going to be like the multiple choice versus true and false. Those different kinds of questions are pretty good, consistent across the different sections. So if I am pretending that I'm going to go to law school, I'm not. Prepare for the LSAT. So practice tests, practice quizzes, LSAT logic games practice. Okay, if there's any attorneys in the crowd or people in law school, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, the LSAT no longer has logic games as one of their sections on the exam. So this is what I was talking about earlier about it not being super up to date. I think they made that change a year or two ago, not having logic games. Like I said, I'm not in law school, and I do not know for that for certain, but I thought that they no longer had it. So that's what I was saying about, like, it's not always super up to date. That's one of the drawbacks of Learning Express, but it is a good starting point. So, practice tests, practice quizzes. A final disclaimer about Learning Express before we're about to wrap up for the day and answer any final questions is that it is not a end-all be-all complete replacement for a much more advanced test preparation course. I know my mom took the LSAT years and years ago when she was preparing to go to law school. She would have like a LSAT specific course. This is not a replacement for an LSAT preparation class or an AP exam preparation class. This is for free to you through the library. Those kinds of courses can be pretty mad expensive. So if this is great for students or parents who are looking for a free or low-cost solution to help their children prepare to get the best, put their best foot forward and get the best chance possible to prepare for what exams they're preparing for next. Do we have any questions about Learning Express? The question was, do we need to put a library card number in for the account? I don't believe so. So if I log out of here, sign in and register, go to register. Oh, as you can see at the top, Rochester Hills Public Library, Mel knows that you clicked on Learning Express through the Rochester Hills Public Library. If I go to register, your institution is Rochester Hills Public Library. I do not see that you need to enter a library card number in order to create the account. You might be wondering, how does it know that it's you and it's not, how do I know that it's just someone random clicked on this link? When I went to the website to go, I don't think I was signed in. Sometimes with library resources, you want to sign in with my account. Long story short, it's because when you've logged in, the library has your username and password, and when you go to a certain database, you'll need to sign in before you click on that database. I don't think that Learning Express is one of them, but it is a good habit to have, is to log in through the library's website before you go to a database, just in case it needs it. But I don't see that as part of the required fields. Another thing to know is because it's available through MEL, which is the Michigan eLibrary, which is available to every single resident within the state of Michigan, It also keeps a track of, I believe, your IP address to confirm that you are currently within the state of Michigan when you click on this link and you go to access it. If I believe if someone theoretically from, say, Tennessee, and for example, their library might not have Learning Express in Tennessee, and they come to Michigan and they go to click on the link to register for their account, technically they could do so in Michigan, but once they go back to Tennessee, I don't think they'll be able to access it because it's not available through their library. So it keeps track of your... I don't believe so. That's a good question. If you were traveling out of state, that might be something that I'll have to test. I was going to say you can try to use a VPN. If you don't know what a VPN is, a VPN can make it pretend that you are in another state when you're traveling out of state. Most people use it for security features to try to throw off hackers so they can't find your location. People also use VPNs to pretend to be in another state in order to access things in that state. I've heard of people who use Netflix where there are only shows in certain countries. For example, a German TV show that's only available on German Netflix. They got a VPN through NordVPN, for example, set their location to pretend to be in Germany so that they can access German Netflix. I think the same concept might apply to here. If you have a VPN, you can pretend that your device is in Michigan, but that's not something I've actually tried, but that's what my suggestion would be. Yeah, so NordVPN is one that I've heard the most about, NordVPN. And then the library, a lot of businesses and schools use VPNs for extra layers of protection. I believe the library uses when I was in college, my Wayne State had Global Protect. I'm not 100% sure what the library has, but we have our own too here at the Rochester Hills Public Library for employees. All right, any other questions? All right. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I hope you have a fun time using Learning Express and Gale courses, and there's lots more to learn. Have a good day, guys.